When people are thinking of a bankruptcy, they're usually thinking about a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is also referred to as the liquidation bankruptcy. The goal of a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is to obtain a fast discharge of most forms of debt, primarily credit card debt, medical debt, and other forms of unsecured obligations. When a person is discharged, that means that they no longer owe the debt to the creditor. They are forever forgiven of the obligation to pay, and the creditor can no longer take action to try to collect that debt. The agreement that a person makes with a bankruptcy court when they file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is in exchange for this almost immediate discharge from their debt, they have to surrender certain forms of property. Whether you surrender property or not in your Chapter 7 bankruptcy depends on what is known as the law of exemptions. When I talk to my clients about keeping their property in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, I like to talk to them about an umbrella. And my job as their bankruptcy lawyer is to try to get all or most of their property under that umbrella so that they can take it through the Chapter 7 bankruptcy, obtain their discharge, and not have to surrender any of their personal property. What goes under the umbrella? Well, in Florida, there's an unlimited exemption or allowance for the equity in your homestead, the house where you live. Right now in our current climate, many people are underwater in their homes and they don't actually have equity. If you don't have a benefit of equity in your home, you can exchange that exemption for a generous exemption on your personal property, up to $4,000. This is what's known as the wild card exemption. In addition to the wild card exemption, every person filing a Chapter 7 bankruptcy has an additional $1,000 allowance, so a total of $5,000 for an allowance for personal property when you don't have the benefit of a homestead exemption. If you can't keep all of your personal property under the umbrella, then the non-exempt part of your property has to be turned over to the trustee. The trustee is then entitled to sell that property for the benefit of creditors. In most cases, we negotiate with the trustee to allow you to keep your property in exchange for a cash payment. In our district, these payments can usually be made over time, over a period of approximately 10 months. People get help from their families or can use money from their earnings to pay this money to the trustee in order to keep the property that they cannot get under the umbrella. In addition to the personal property exemptions, Florida also provides an exemption allowance of $1,000 per automobile for each person filing their Chapter 7 bankruptcy. There are also other forms of exemptions that allow you to keep property. For example, retirement property, retirement accounts, 401k accounts, IRA accounts, also savings for future education. There are actually many exemptions under the law, and we talk with each client to explore their individual personal financial situation so that we can exempt as much of their property as the law allows. And my job as a Chapter 7 bankruptcy is to ensure that all of my clients get the full benefit of the exemptions that are provided to them by Florida law, get their property under their umbrella, and take it through them in their Chapter 7 bankruptcy.